I am at the airport and I have the light that's in the corner, so I don't know if that's bugging you guys. Just let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and we're going to get going with lesson 3. If lesson 3 doesn't go so well here from the airport, then you know what we'll have to do? We'll have to just do it over. You know, it happens, but there'll be plenty of stuff that you'll learn from chapter 3. Let's see what it's about. So we're opening the book and people at the airport are looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. So we're on chapter 3. We ended up on not special assessments. Let's see. We were on liens. Hi there, how you doing? You made it? Hey, since you're the first person on, can you tell me if you can see the light hoop in the middle of the screen? And can you hear me? Because I don't want to talk really loud. Hi, thank you, thumbs up, good. Okay, so we're doing chapter 3, real estate principles. I don't think anybody's looking at me like I'm too weird, but who cares? We want to learn real estate, right? Good morning, I'm so glad you're here. I know it's morning over there, but it's, I don't know, almost like 2 o'clock here I'm still in New York. I'm at JFK. All right. Hey, you guys are making it. I'm so glad you made it. Hi, Valerie. How's it going? So I got in the wheelchair and I got here and we're here. So we were talking about when we cut off yesterday because I had to go. We were talking about liens, voluntary, involuntary, specific, or general. You guys have to know this because it's on your state exam and it might be on your final in your class. So just remember, if it's voluntary, you wanted to get the loan or you wanted to get the lien that's on your home. So maybe you got an equity line of credit and you put it against your home, or maybe you got a first trustee when you got your mortgage to buy your home. Those are voluntary liens, and you have to understand voluntary versus involuntary. Involuntary means you got sued in court and they went ahead and they got a court order and they got an attachment. You have to know what the attachment is, because an attachment is when they sue you, they take the lien and they put it against your home, and it's a lien against your home. So that's a money attachment, which is a lien. Hi Maria, how you doing? I know I made it. I tried to get here before, so I could be at our normal time, so I was consistent. But sometimes things happen and you can't be consistent because you're in an airport or an airplane. So the person who makes all my travels doesn't realize, the different time changes when I have to be on air at 9:30, right? So like I thought you guys could just watch the live version, but let's try to stick to the lesson. So voluntary, involuntary, specific, or general. So if you're getting the loan on a particular house, that's voluntary, specific. If you're being sued and it's in court, they're going to have an attachment on your home, but they're also going to put a general lien against everything you have. So it's not good to get sued in court. So remember the differences so that when you see what it is, because on the real estate exam and in your chapter finals, if you're still working on your certificate classes, you're going to have those that you have to, they'll give you a scenario and you'll have to figure out if it's general or if it's specific, if it's voluntary or involuntary, okay? So I'm going on to the next page. See what they're going to teach us now. They're going to teach us, they're going to give us a chapter outline, but we don't need that. So we already talked about voluntary and involuntary liens. A voluntary lien does not have to be recorded. Well, that's crazy. The mortgage company is going to lien it against your house. But it says in big green letters, a voluntary lien does not have to be recorded. Involuntary liens are money obligations that create a burden on the property, so it's liened against the property. We already talked about specific and general, and trust deeds, as you know, are voluntary specific. So a mortgage loan against the house is a voluntary lien that you got, and it's specific against the property that you purchased. Same with a mortgage. Now remember, if you guys are watching other channels, make sure you clearly understand that with a mortgage, there's two parties. There's the mortgagor, which is the owner. Remember, if it has OR at the end of the word, it's probably the owner of the house. EE is the mortgagee. That's the person who loaned the money. So it is a security device against your property. A mortgage is a lien that secures real property for the payment of a promissory note or a debt. Mechanics liens. Hey, we're here on mechanics liens. Remember yesterday I said, oh God, we're going to do mechanics liens. So everybody makes mechanics liens way harder than they are. Just remember, it should be called a contractor's lien, not a mechanics lien. But since the end of time, they've been called mechanics liens. So mechanics lien is from somebody who literally worked on your property It's so crazy. I'm in a public place doing your class. Somebody who worked on your home, a contractor, and maybe even a subcontractor, because remember, this is how it works. You have to think about how it works so you understand it on the test. Whenever you hire a contractor to work on your home, it's usually not the actual contractor that you hired. Like I hired my pool contractor and he hires subcontractors. So the contractors up here and the subcontractors are down here, and they all specialize in the type of work that they do. So you pay the contractor and the contractor pays the subcontractors. Now, once in a bad timing, once in a bad moon, maybe the contractor doesn't pay the subcontractors. And if they're licensed subcontractors, what they'll do is they'll put a mechanics lien on your house. I know, even though you already paid the contractor. That's why you always want to hire a licensed contractor, because they don't want to lose their license. So if you pay them, now you don't ever pay a contractor the whole thing up front. You usually pay them enough for the materials to get started. So now we're going to hear the airport talking. So I'll keep going. Let me know if you need to hear anything repeated. So what happens is at the end of the project, the contractor or the homeowner may file a notice of completion. The notice of completion, if it's filed, gives the subcontractors 60 days to file a mechanics lien. Okay, notice of completion is filed. They have 60 days to file the mechanics lien. If they don't file it, they don't get to file it, and they may lose out if they didn't get paid. If it is filed, okay, 60 days. If it's not filed, they get 90 days. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it's kind of weird to teach here. So 90 days if it's not filed. So if the notice of completion is not filed, the question on the test will either ask you for both days, 60 and 90, or the difference between the 60 and the 90 days. So if it's filed, they've been given notice. So since they've been given notice, they only get 60 days. If it's not filed, they get 90 days because they don't know when it was completed, and they can file the mechanics lien. If they don't file it before that time, then they might not get paid. Okay, got all that? That's the mechanics lien. So the other thing about the mechanics lien, before I grab my book, is it's one of the only liens that takes precedence over anything else. Did you hear that word, precedence? And the reason is because what if you do the contract with the contract with the contractor in January, and then he works on your house, and then he doesn't get paid in May? Well, then when he goes to file the lien, it will go back to the date of the contract. Got that? So it goes all the way back to the date of the contract. Now, if the homeowner got an equity line of credit and the contractor's license and contract was filed at this point, guess what? If he files a mechanics lien, it's going to go ahead of the second trustee. So because the mechanics lien takes precedence, anything from the time he got the contract to the time you didn't pay him, when he goes and files that mechanics lien, it has precedence. So one of the things is with a brand new house, the contractor's lien dates back all the way back to the beginning of construction. That's on the state exam. You have to know that. Contractor's liens go to the date of construction on a brand new house. On a house that's a resale home or a home that a homeowner owns and they hire a contractor, it goes back to the beginning of the work. So if the contractors were hired to do flooring on a brand new house, it goes to the very beginning. If he's hired to do flooring on a house from a homeowner, it goes to when the start of the contract was. I hope you guys got that. If you have questions, put it in comments, or you guys all have my phone number by now. Go ahead and text me, okay? So let's see what's next. So we did mechanics lien and we were doing liens. Preliminary notice. So let's see if that's something you need for your state exam or for your final. It says preliminary notice is that's the notice that they do so that the contractors know for the 60 days or the 90 days. And then they talk about determining the start time. So I already told you about that. Got it. Notice of completion is when the work is all done on the property or on the project. That's when the notice of completion is filed. If it's a brand new home, or if it's a house that somebody completely remodeled, if it's a brand new home, you have to do an occupancy notice. If it's not a brand new home and you completely redid it, as long as you left one wall up, you don't have to do the notice of occupancy. Got it? Let's see, notice of responsibility. This is a really good one, and it's not even on the state exam, but it might be in your final if you're still taking your classes. The notice of responsibility is, let's say I'm a homeowner and I'm an investor, and I have a property, and I go over to my house to pick up rent, and the renter hired somebody to work on my house, and I'm like, I didn't hire those people, and they're literally working on my home, and they're contractors, and I go and I collect my rent and I leave. Well, now that I saw them working, If I'm a smart investor, I'm going to file, and I did this last year, a notice of non-responsibility. A notice of non-responsibility is, I'm the owner of the house. Somebody else hired you to work on my house. I didn't hire you, so I'm not responsible. But you have to file that notice of non-responsibility within 10 days from knowledge that someone's working on your home. Because like, what if I went there and I collected the rent, and the renters hired these people, and I saw those people working on my house? I'm like, I'm just going to let them work. And then the renter doesn't pay them, and then they file a mechanics lien on my house, and now I have a mechanics lien on my house. Or maybe I just wait a few days to let them do some work for free. I wouldn't do that, but somebody else might do that. So be careful. Those mechanics liens are tricky things on the test, and notice of responsibility is making sure that you don't have to pay for something that someone else hired to work on your house. Got it? Lots of stuff. I still have my voice. So tax liens. Whoa, tax liens are really, really bad because tax liens take precedence over everything. So a lot of people ask me about tax sales and tax liens from tax sales and how you buy a house at a tax sale. All you simply have to do is find the county that you want to buy a tax property at and sign up for the list, and they'll give you the list, and they'll tell you when the auction is going to happen, and they'll tell you how much they want for the house to pay off the taxes. I was so lucky because I actually had internet for the longest time, but it doesn't look like it's connected. Oh, there it is. I'm connected again. I don't know. Internet service at the airport. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm trying to get you some stuff so that you'll have stuff to study. And then maybe when I stop in Dallas, I'll do lesson 8.5. How about that? So, tax liens. Tax liens take precedence over even mortgages. So like if somebody has a mortgage on their house, this is why it's really, really hard to buy a house at a tax sale, because it may go all the way up to sale. And then the mortgage company who has the mortgage against the house, if it's way more than the tax lien and the house is worth a lot, they'll go ahead and the mortgage company will come in at the last minute and pay the taxes so that they don't lose the loan. Because the tax, when you buy a house at a tax sale, everything else is wiped out. Got that? So that's that. Special assessments. So special assessments are when something happens in your area and the city or the county charges you for it. And as a homeowner, you sometimes don't know when that's going to happen. For example, I'll give you a good example. I bought a condo, my very first condo that I talk about, and what happened was it was a co-op. So nobody teaches you guys the difference between a co-op and a condo. A co-op we have in a couple cities in California. I know for sure there's co-ops in San Juan Capistrano, and there's co-ops in, I want to say Santa Ana. But a co-op is where you're buying a percentage of the whole property. I'm in New York, and they have co-ops in New York all the time because it's like they're buying a percentage of the building. But we don't have a lot of those in California. A condo is where you own the airspace inside your property and the airspace above the common areas. I gotta make sure that my plane doesn't take off without me. It is now 11 o'clock their time, or your time, 11, 12, 1, 2. My plane doesn't leave until 2:45, so I don't know why they're boarding. I'm not gonna get on, I'm finishing your class. So anyway, special assessment. So with my condo, everybody knew that being a co-op, it wasn't gonna be very easy to sell the co-op because you can't get loans on co-ops. That's another reason you guys have to know what a co-op is, because in Laguna Woods, which is it's the old leisure world, they have, hi there, how you doing, Mark? I can't believe I'm here. I look warm on my turtleneck. Is it cold there? Well, it was cold outside because I'm still in New York, and I'm hiding in the corner of the airport talking to you guys. How about that, Mark? But I want to get some of this done. I'm trying to hear if they call my name because they have to put me on the airplane earlier because I have my broken foot. But anyway, going back to the special assessment. So a special assessment could happen, like our condo was originally a co-op. Well, my condo was originally a co-op. And so when the association voted to change them to condominiums, it cost $7,000 per unit. So they put a lien on our house as an assessment so that I had to pay that extra $7,000 to change it from a co-op to a condo. Sometimes they have special assessments when they do street work. You just don't know. Oh, I know what just happened. I live in Diamond Bar, and they did a special assessment for the landscaping in the city. And I'm just like, are you serious? What am I paying taxes for, right? So those are special assessments. And sometimes developers put special assessments on, okay? That's when you get to Melrose, when the developers charge for Melrose. Judgments, I already talked to you guys about judgments. After judgments in the book, it talks about small claims court. And small claims court is anything less than $10,000. Now, what they did because of COVID was for landlords who were suing for more than $10,000, they raised the limit. So if you're an investor and a landlord, you really need to talk to somebody who knows the landlord-tenant laws. And if you need to talk to my attorney, he's really good with that. Termination of a judgment. Most judgments are terminated by satisfaction. That means you paid it off. So if you paid off the judgment, they'll give you a statement that says you paid it off, and they'll clear the judgment against your property. They have a lot of stuff in this book about judgments and attachments, and it's not on your state exam, but it might possibly be in your finals in your classes. So if you have questions on that kind of stuff and you want me to go more detailed with you, you guys know you can always call me. It goes into les pendens and tax sales. A les pendens is the recording of a notice with the county recorder's office warning all persons that there's a certain type of lawsuit going on the property. So sometimes what you'll see when people are in foreclosure, what they'll do is they'll file a lawsuit on when they file the lawsuit, it's something pertaining to the title. And if they file a les pendens and you go to buy a house at a trustee's sale, there may be a pending lawsuit. So that's what it means. There's a pending lawsuit. Beware, you might get stuck in a triangle mess. But a lot of times attorneys will just file that because what they're trying to do is help the homeowner clear a title before the house goes to sale. Okay. It looks like they're boarding, and I don't really want to get off, but I don't want to miss my plane either. So I've been on for about 15 minutes. What I'll do, you guys, is when I land in Dallas, I don't even think I'm supposed to be boarding yet. Let's see. I can't tell what time it is. Yeah, they're boarding. So anyway, my plane doesn't even leave until 2:45. But anyway, what I'll do, you guys, is when I get to Dallas, I'll do a little bit more of chapter 3. I ended up on page 53 in my book so that I know where I'm at. And I look forward to meeting you up in Dallas. Bye.